Supervised quarantine is an effective precautionary measure to protect those around you and in the Cook Islands from catching COVID-19. It means taking simple public health measures to avoid close physical contact with other people as much as possible. Supervised quarantine is a specific public health concept used to separate some people from others for a short period of time to prevent, limit, or mitigate the spread of the SARS-CoV-2 virus that causes COVID-19 and its effects in the Cook Islands. Your supervised quarantine process will be governed by a category quarantine order under the COVID-19 Act 2020.
It starts on arrival at the Rarotonga International Airport. Quarantine is for 14 days from the time you arrive in the Cook Islands.
You can undertake your supervised quarantine at the residence in which you have decided upon prior to coming into the Cook Islands. This residence or this place that you will be living at has been pre-approved by Te Marae Ora prior to your departure from Auckland. Any other person that may be living in that dwelling will also be subjected to supervised quarantine for those 14 days. The place where you are undertaking your supervised quarantine will be marked with a yellow flag and possibly taped to cordon off the property as required. This is to allow monitoring by the local community, health clinic services, and also people in our community and puna. And this is to alert others that this dwelling is under quarantine restrictions. The puna will be providing 24/7 monitoring of your property. This is to ensure so that there is no breach of supervised quarantine process. Police will also provide mobile patrols from time to time. The rules of supervised quarantine are set out in the category quarantine order, which will be provided to all persons who are subjected to this order. And this will also include that every person in quarantine area must not leave the quarantine area for the duration of the quarantine time, unless specifically authorised by Te Marae Ora or emergency services to do so. Not interfere with the identification mechanism used to identify the quarantine area, which is either a yellow flag, police tape, or a barrier. Not to permit any items or property to leave the quarantine area, so once in, it has to stay in. And you're also not to come within 2 metres of any person at the boundary of the quarantine area. Cooperate with health officials to undergo any health checks and follow any further directions given by health officials of Te Marae Ora.
No person is permitted to enter the quarantine area unless they are authorized by the Secretary of Health to do so. In the event a person under quarantine becomes aware of any person other than a health official coming into their quarantine area, that person must notify health immediately.
Any breach of the quarantine requirements may result in prosecution and a term of imprisonment up to 12 months or a fine not exceeding $10,000. Yeah. Police may also detain any person breaching the quarantine requirements and transport them to another facility. That person may also be subject to a further order.
In the event of any other issues arising that may affect your ability to carry out your 14 days supervised quarantine, you must contact the Marae Ora on phone number 54883. Persons under quarantine must follow the directions given by health officials. You may go outside your room or home, but you must stay within the perimeters of your private property or yard. Any form of exercise is permitted provided this is within the confines of your private property.
No, you cannot leave your property. You must arrange with your families and friends to deliver food, water and other essential medicines to your property. If you need assistance with having these items delivered to your property, please let the health official know during the health checks and other arrangements will be made.
If you start feeling unwell under supervised quarantine, please remain in the quarantine area and contact health officials on phone number 20066 or 0800 1801.